after disappearing for a while, might as well give this video a try. Hey guys, it's Skyler here. Welcome back to a new video on this channel. And I finally remembered my password again. All jokes aside, I am now in my internship and, shit's busy, which does make it harder and harder for me to make new videos, but I'm sure you're not here to hear me yap about my personal life. You're here to hear me yap about seasonal anime. And based on the title, yes, I will be reviewing 2 seasons of anime all in one video. Oh boy. Because yeah, I've missed around 2 seasons of anime, literally about 6 months worth. I don't even remember the last time when I watched anime. But just to keep the tradition going, we're gonna cover 2 seasons in this one video. So hold on to your butts, because there's gonna be a lot of anime in this list. So without further ado, here is the winter and spring of 2026 anime. Let's get to it. Alright, starting off for our winter 2026 anime, we have Fire Force Season 3 Core 2. So the absolutely final part of Fire Force is here, or was here. You know the term fight fire with fire? That's basically what this anime is. We have firefighters who basically put out fire like demons using the power of fire. Oshinoko Season 3. It's really interesting how quickly the hype died for this series. I still remember when everyone was like really hyped after watching the first episode of Oshinoko. They're like, oh, shit's gonna go down after this or something like that. But in the end, ultimately, it is just an idol anime with like a lot of different psychological aspects and stuff like that. I hear a lot of people on social media just complaining, this is just an idol anime. What the fuck did you expect? Trigun Stargaze. Story of a guy who has a really high bounty, known for causing destruction wherever he goes. Turns out the guy is actually like really passive. Doesn't really stop others from coming after him though. So this series is a sequel to Trigun Stampede, which is a reboot to the original Trigun. That might be a bit confusing. So between the OG and the reboot, the timeline is pretty different, with a lot of new twists, but still with your same familiar characters. Frieren Season 2. This fantasy anime with our beloved elf has finally returned for a sequel. Fucking finally. So the plot is basically an elf. You know how long an elf lives. She outlives her old party who defeated the Demon King and is now like very lonely. So now she goes on an adventure with the acquaintances of her old party members basically. The story is sad. The story is action-packed. It's fucking amazing. Hell's Paradise Season 2. The story of death row convicts going to an island, not that kind of island, to retrieve an elixir of life that supposedly grants immortality. And basically they're doing this to escape their death row sentence. Change Soldier Season 2. A series about supernatural abilities that exist only for women. And one of them has the power to make someone their slave. I know what you're thinking, calm down. And the slave of hers surpasses its limit, goes from pretty weak to pretty strong. If you want action, if you want fantasy, and especially ecchi, give the show a watch. Is it good? That's for you to decide. Undead Unluck Winter Arc. One has an unluck curse that causes calamity. The other is an immortal who desperately wants to die. And both of them team up. My Hero Academia Vigilante Season 2. From the enormous positive reviews from Season 1, obviously they're gonna do a Season 2. My Hero Academia Vigilantes, if you don't know, takes place before the events of Deku's My Hero Academia. So these guys don't really have licenses to be like actual heroes, but they're still doing hero stuff, just illegally. The series is absolutely amazing. I'm glad it has a Season 2. Plus, more My Hero Academia content after, the original series already ended. Jujutsu Kaisen The Culling Game Part 1. The awaited season has finally arrived, and fans are fucking hyped. This takes place after the Shibuya incident. So yeah, we kind of know what happens there. But for some of you who don't know what Jujutsu Kaisen is, it's a series where sorcerers fight demons, basically. And one of those sorcerers kind of swallowed the finger of like the strongest demon in history. So that demon now lives inside him. Kaguya-sama Love is War Stairway to Adulthood. A 2-episode TV special taken from the manga for our hilarious rom-com series. Kaguya-sama Love is War is basically a battle between the guy and the girl where the other has to confess first. making them the loser. Yeah, you have no idea how long this fucking took. Fate, Strange Fake. For this installment of Fate, it takes place during the fake Holy Grail War. But the real Holy Grail War is also happening at the same time too. It's set roughly 5 years after the events of Fate's Day Night. But then again, it's not a sequel, it's its own timeline. Okay, there's only so much I can explain about Fate without making it into like a 2-hour plus video. Okay. Do you know Saber? Yeah, this girl? She's from the Fate franchise. Alright, if you want me to explain Fate, I'm gonna have to make a separate video on that. I don't know how well it's gonna go though. Noble reincarnation, born blessed, so I'll obtain ultimate power. Like I said many times before, it's in the name. Reincarnated as a noble and has a cheat skill. That's all there is to it. Easygoing territory defense by the optimistic lord. Isekai into a family who favors offensive magic, while our MC possesses production magic that basically creates tools, weapons, stuff like that, which the family considers useless, so he's banished to a nameless village. What the family doesn't know though is that the MC could possibly make that village thrive more than ever. Jack of all trades, party of none. Here's our banished from the heroes party MC for this season. He's good at everything, but a master at none. Kunon, the sorcerer can see. Sure, but and I have a really good upload schedule. A blind genius that wants to create new eyes using water magic. A blind MC is definitely something we don't see every day. Pun intended. There was a cute girl in the heroes party, so I tried confessing to her. A very straightforward man would love to see it. Reincarnated as a mid-tier demon and has to crush the heroes party. Unfortunately for him, one of the members is hella cute, and he falls head over heels for her. Hell mode. The hardcore gamer dominates in another world with garbage balancing. Isekai's into a never-ending game with a hell mode that obviously raises the difficulty for that game. But as the title suggests, it's no problem for our MC. Reincarnated as a dragon hatchling. It's in the name. Generally, Isekai's into an egg, comes out as a dragon. An adventurous daily grind at age 29. An adventurer sought strength for survival, now lives a peaceful life. Ends up encountering a young girl being partially eaten by a slime. He saves her and brings her back to the village. I don't know, I guess I do have a sweet spot for these kinds of series. A gentle noble's vacation recommendation. A noble in a fantasy world isekais into another world and treats it as a vacation. Mayonaka Heart Tune. A harem rom-com where the MC finds solace in the voice of a radio host. But then she stopped broadcasting. Years later, he's still trying to look for that radio host and find some leads at the broadcasting club, filled with 4 girls who want to make full use of their voice. Yeah, from the plot itself, I can already see where this is going. It's gonna be something like Nisekoi or Gotobu no Hanayome. You and I are polar opposites. An extroverted girl falls in love with an introverted guy, but she's struggling to confess to him. So it's a story to answer the question, do polar opposites attract? The villainess is adored by the prince of the neighbor kingdom. A girl isekais into a favorite otome game as the villainess, and everything is going as planned, including her engagement being breaking off by the crown prince. What she didn't expect is that the crown prince from a neighboring kingdom is now the one proposing to her. Another isekai into otome game villainess, but it progresses way different than the actual game itself. In the Clear Moonlit Dusk, a love story featuring a handsome girl nicknamed the Prince, and a pretty boy who's also considered a prince. So it's a handsome love story. The Holy Grail of Eris, betrayed by her fiance's new lover and sentenced to public execution. But then she is saved by a noblewoman that was presumed dead. Together they uncover the dark conspiracy of the high society. Shiboyugi, playing death games to put food on the table. A professional death game player treats the whole death game aspect as purely business. And this time they're all in maid outfits. So while everyone else is panicking, she is pretty chill about it, because that's how she earns a living. The Invisible Man and his soon-to-be wife. Rom-com featuring an invisible man that works at a detective agency, and his colleague is a blind girl that somehow knows where he is every time, even though he's fully invisible. Before they knew it, they become attracted to each other. Dead account. When people die, their social media accounts become ghost accounts, which manifest their owner into a digitized specter. And while paying for his sister's medical bills, our MC, who's a streamer and also an absolute fucking troll, gains powers and gets dragged to an academy to fight these digitized ghosts. Wash it all away. A slice of life where a girl runs a small laundry service at a hot springs town, and every clothing she cleans has a story to tell. Tamon's B-side. A fangirl who works as a housekeeper gets to clean her favorite idol's house, who instead of the popular idol persona is actually just an introvert. The daily life of a part-time torturer. In a world where torture is completely legal, this is a story of a torture company that does exactly that. With a big smile. Kaya-chan wa kawakunai. Story of a kindergartner that has a really strong sixth sense. She tends to see ghosts that stalk her friends and proceeds to beat them up. The Demon King's daughter is too kind. A cute story of the Demon King trying to conquer the world. Well, that's not the cute part. This Demon King, however, has an obstacle that's stopping him in his tracks, which is his very own daughter, who is a little too kind and gentle, and she melts hearts everywhere. And our last entry for the winter 2026 season is Sentenced to be a Hero. Heard a lot of people really enjoyed the series. So in a world where the title of hero is considered a punishment, our MC leads a team of convicts, which technically consider heroes, to the front lines. And they can't really die, because they'll just get revived again. Now with that season done, let's move on to the spring 2026 anime. Starting off with Rent a Girlfriend Season 5. Not a good start. At this point, I'm not even surprised if they reach Season 10. They're milking this shit dry. Story of a fucking loser using a rental girlfriend service and gets cock-blocked by his goddamn author. That time I got reincarnated as a slime Season 4. Isekai into a slime that becomes more and more powerful. Well, we're at Season 4 already, and boy does the series have a lot of installments. The series itself is pretty solid, and the fandom has also grown a lot as well, including the weird ones. Classroom of the Elite Season 4. Being in the lowest ranked class and getting the chance to get to a higher ranked class if you score better than those people with whatever methods you can possibly do. A lot of Ayano Koji wannabes are gonna appear in social media again. ReZero Season 4. Ah yes, the season with the infamous Aura Stairs scene. Isekai into another world where every time you die, you load back to a previous checkpoint. Some of the deaths in this series are pretty fucking crazy. It can really fuck you up. Dr. Stone Science Future Core 3. Whole world gets petrified into stone, but only a certain number of people wake up years later. So they're going to use the power of science to try to revive everyone again. I don't think I usually come across a season that has 3 parts or cores. Starting to pull in AOT. Reborn as a vending machine, I Now Wander the Dungeon 3rd season. Dear God, why? This series cannot be that good. You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna give this series a watch. It's basically isekaiing into a vending machine that can dispense anything. The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten Season 2. Guy lives next door to a girl that's basically nicknamed the Angel. One day he helps her out, and fast forward, she now spoils him alive. She cooks for him, she cleans for him, and she even nurses him when he gets sick. Is it a good series? Yeah. Does it make you jealous? Abso-fucking-lutely. Farming Life in Another World Season 2. Isekai into another world where you're free to do as you please. There, our MC wants to try out farming. So he's going to develop a lifeless area into a new thriving society. Wistoria Wand and Sword Season 2. Join a magic academy that has no magical abilities, making a lot of people look down on him. He's really fucking good with the sword though. Basically Asta from Black Clover, with a different personality. The Beginning After the End Season 2. Well, this series is back. I don't know how. Powerful guy who trusts no one isekais into another world where he learns the joy he's never experienced before. While Season 1 having terrible animation is an understatement, and it seems like Season 2 is leaning towards using CGI, which still has mixed reviews. But then again, it is a really, and I mean really, low bar to pass, so just read the manhwa. Mission Yozakura Family Season 2. MC lost his parents, and the only one that seems to care for him is his childhood friend, who turns out to be the head of a family of spies. And her brother is really overprotective of her, so in order to prevent him from getting killed by her brother, he's gonna marry his childhood friend. The Most Heretical Last Boss Queen from Villainous to Savior Season 2. Isekais into an otome game as the last boss villainous, but aims to transform her kingdom for the better. Isekai de Chito skill wo te ni shita ore wa, genjitsu sekai wo mo musou suru. Level up wa jinsai wo kaeta special. Holy shit, I forgot this series existed. Story of a guy who was always resented by others except for his grandpa, who passed away, then finds a hidden door into another world where he can enter and leave as he pleases. That's when he starts getting stronger and stronger. This series came out like 3 years ago, and this seems to be a TV special, so I don't know what's actually going to be in store, but it does seem like they're going to work on a Season 2 soon. Needy Girl Overdose. On the internet, the MC is seen as one of the most recognizable streamers drawing attention from fans and creators alike. Though behind the screen is a whole different personality. I'm guessing the anime is a sequel to the popular visual novel Needy Streamer Overload, but I also heard that you don't really need to play the game to watch the anime because it's generally for like lore purposes. Personally for me, I don't really know much about the game because I've never actually played it before, but I do have the game on my Steam library. So if y'all want me to play it and make a video out of it, just let me know. The strongest job is apparently not a hero or a sage, but an appraiser, provisional. An isekai with a weak class is fucking OP. It's in the name. Witch Hat Atelier. In a world where you have to be born with a gift to use magic to, well, use magic, our MC doesn't really have that, making her almost giving up on her dream of becoming a witch, until she comes across a traveling magician that does magic in a different way, the great sage Riddle and the Hands of Time. The great sage gets a second chance to prevent all the misfortunes that happen to him by using time reversal on his youthful body, carrying along his millennium years worth of knowledge. Scum of the Brave. In this world, the Tokyo's mafia can turn to demon lords. Yeah, what a start. And the ones who hunt them down are the Braves, aka the heroes. And one of these heroes gets a self-proclaimed apprentice that forces a way into his life. So you can kind of see how chaotic this is gonna get. Descendants of a bookworm, adopted daughter of an archduke. A bookworm isekais into another world where books are barely a thing. So she devotes her life to creating books. But her mana draws attention, so in order to protect her family and friends, she takes on as a new life as the adopted daughter of an archduke. The warrior princess and the barbaric king. The most fiercest knight gets captured by barbarians, and instead of getting tortured, she got proposed by her own enemy, and she declined hard. But obviously that's not going to be the case soon after that. Sounds like a pretty nice enemies to lovers series. Haibara's Teenage New Game Plus. This is basically another travel back to your past life kind of series. This time the MC gets a chance to turn his school days life around by using the things he learned in college. The Food Diary of Miss Maid. I mean, from the title it's not really hard to know what the plot is. The series is basically a food diary of a maid in training spending a year in Japan eating Japanese food. This is more on the light-hearted comedy slice of life aspect, which in all fairness I do like. Gals can't be kind to otaku. As you know, gyarus typically bully the otaku, but in this case they actually start bonding through anime, fandoms, and games. Marriage Toxin. An elite assassin from a powerful family heard that his sister has to bear a heir, so in order to protect her and solve this predicament, he teams up with a marriage swindler to conquer the most challenging task of all: finding a wife. I made friends with the second prettiest girl in my class. Yep, it's in the name. It's the entire plot. A rom-com where the MC, who couldn't make friends at school, has finally made a friend who now hangs out with him all the time. And this girl is nicknamed the second prettiest girl in the class. I want to end this love game. Childhood friends that share everything with each other except their actual feelings. They played a love game since 6th grade where the other person has to say I love you and the person that flutters loses the game. Was easy at first until they reach high school where, you know, puberty is on overdrive. The klutzy class monitor and the girl with the short skirt. What a title. A rom-com where the class monitor guards the school gates and enforces rules such as stopping the girl whose skirt is a little too short. As they argue every day, they get closer to each other. Even a replica can fall in love. A girl has her own replacement whenever she's sick or she doesn't want to go to school. But then this replica does fall in love with a boy at school who does notice that she's different from the original girl, but it does make her worry if she, a replica, can fall in love. It's a fucking masterpiece over here. The Ramparts of Ice. A school life between 4 students with very different personalities and statuses. One is insecure, one is popular, one is extroverted, and the other is pretty laid back, each of them facing their own challenges. So for this series, we'll see how they break out of the shells and live their youthful life to the fullest. Mistress Kanan is devilishly easy. A female demon infiltrates a high school to feed on human souls, finally finds a target, but ends up getting a relationship with him. And this demon is a little too innocent when it comes to romance. An observation log of my fiance who calls herself a villainess. Isekaiing into an otome game as a villainess, like the many other ones. But this time, she's actually trying to play the role. Fails really horribly though. Nigashita sakana wa ookikatta ga, tsuriyageta sakana ga ookisugita ken. Or in English, always a catch. What happened to the other words? I don't fucking know. Born into a noble family to become the proud heiress of the family. Just now necessary because she now has a baby brother. Now she's ordered to marry to prestige, but successfully escapes into a royal academy at the neighboring country with the help of her distant relative. But because of how similar they look, she got mistaken by the distant relative's fiance and he breaks up with her. now raising a lot of new scandals. While helping the MC to find a suitor, that fiancé has slowly gotten more attracted to her. Yeah, it gets really confusing now. The classroom of a black cat and a witch. MC wants to join a magic academy, but can't use magic. How many of these plots are there? Until a black cat that can talk approaches her and turns out to be a powerful mage cursed into cat form. This plot has been used many times, but everyone has like a different take on them. Kill Blue. What? So a legendary assassin who has never failed his assignments before has transformed into a 13-year-old. But then again, his boss is still giving him new tasks in that body. So he's living a school life while also having the identity of one of the most feared assassins. Liar Game. So Liar Game is basically a psychological strategy game built on lies, deception, and betrayal. Kinda like a death game, but the loser has to bear a huge amount of debt, which kind of considers as death too. And our MC is a foolishly honest girl, so we'll see how she's gonna survive this game. Botan Kamina fully blossoms when drunk. This girl likes to drink alone because she's worried people can see her hiccups while she's drunk. And that hiccup is basically going from the well-mannered self to an assertive flirt. The genre of the series is Yuri. So Eren the Southpaw, story of a high schooler that is a really good artist, goes through the real world and realizes that no one really considers him to have talent for art. Through many struggles, he's gonna keep pursuing that dream to prove that he has what it takes to be a pro. Tadaima ojama sarimasu. An office worker who's secretly an otaku has two neighbors beside her in her apartment. Every night when she's watching anime, one of her neighbors keep banging on the wall every time she switches channels from the usual anime that she watches. Turns out that neighbor is actually the creator for that particular anime. Nippon Sangoku, the three nations of the Crimson Sun. The pinnacle of modern civilization in Japan is now in ruins, and the country is now split into three different nations. Our MC dreams to reunite the separated country to bring back the pride that it once had. This sounds like a very hard-hitting drama. Might be worth a watch. And last but definitely not least on this winter 2026 anime season is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Steel Ball Run. You know damn well I'm not gonna leave this shit out. For this part of JoJo, it takes place in the Old West, featuring the world's greatest race with $50 million to be won. As racers all around the world gather to compete in this race, our JoJo for this series is a former horse rider that's paralyzed from the waist down. Suddenly, he gains the ability to walk again after witnessing a duel with steel balls. So in order to learn more about this power, he's gonna join this high stakes race. This entire series is so peak, and it's arguably one of the best JoJo parts. Normally JoJo parts have roughly around 25 episodes, and it's toward the end of the season already, so let's see how many episodes are out. One, well, for now, if you want a series that is also taking place in the Old West and also has a high stakes race with a different take on it, then you can try watching Apparirama to satisfy your craving. But then again, I'm sure y'all are more excited for the bizarre part of the race. Well, hopefully the rest of the series is released soon and the episodes are also bangers. If Netflix could luck the fucking. And with that, this is the winter and spring of 2026 anime. So first things first, let's get this out of the way. I have disappeared for so long, haven't made a video for a while. And yeah, mostly it's because of the fact that I work a 9 to 5 now. But this internship is lasting until like the end of the year, so I expect much less videos for the rest of the year. But I will also try to upload as much as I can when I have the free time. Because so far, man, work is tiring. Literally, once you're done with work, you arrive home, it's already night, you pass out. Once you wake up, you have to go to work again. That is low-key torture. But yeah, I'm slowly getting used to this entire internship working thing. Like even on the weekends, I just like spend it by sleeping. Just getting all the sleep I possibly can so that I can deal with another 5 days of work. Yeah, I really miss making videos. But don't worry, just give me time to adjust myself to this new working life and I will start uploading videos again. Not as much, but there will be videos from time to time. I can even show you a sneak peek for a video that's coming soon. Yeah, you see this? Hell yeah, baby. So yeah, I'm really sorry if I can't get any videos out. Plus, this seasonal anime video is literally at the end of the season. You're most likely gonna see this during the summer season. My schedule is really fucked. But now let's talk about the 2 seasons of anime that I just reviewed. Holy fuck. So one thing that I have realized about these two seasons, there's a lot of recurring plots. I mean, honestly, from like the entirety of like anime seasons, they're always like some sort of isekai where like MC becomes overpowered and stuff like that. But we also have, you know, found a lot of new kinds of plots to be reused, such as like otome games, as like the villainess banished from the hero's party, going to a magic academy but you can't use magic. I mean, not saying I don't like them, it's interesting to see them recurring a lot in like a single season, for example. But it doesn't remove the fact that this season is pretty interesting. There are a lot of series that I am actually excited to watch. I have seen a couple of the trailers for the animes here. I'm pretty excited, even if we're gonna reach a new season already. But yeah, I gotta catch up with my anime, you know. From recurring plots to many sequels to a 1-episode series, which out of this fucking huge list are you looking forward to in these 2 seasons? Let me know in the comments below. But I guess that's about it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and tell me in the comments below, out of this entire gigantic list, is there any anime that I missed that I haven't reviewed yet? If there is, let me know in the comments below and I'll try to find some time to review them. Till then, see you in the next one. Bye.